Hi, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. I'll read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz, new book 4 by Dwayne the Great Writer. The Shield of Death. We can walk on the air, Sonny, he said as we went first, and he said as he went first, and I watched for a moment, wondering if I really wanted to go. I stepped out from the balcony and followed RT at a very fast pace across the sky. Walking on air is actually really neat. We continued for the longest time until we could barely see except for the light around ourselves from our light bodies. This section of Callumville is a strange attic world of odd shapes and very little vegetation. I actually saw no trees here either. Because of the hardness, look, and coarse reality of what I was experiencing, I was not altogether enthused about what I had gotten myself into. Sitting in a movie theater or watching TV and getting excited about all the adventure that is taking place in a contained environment is one thing. And so here I am in the true actuality of the most desolate place in the distorted time and space realms, and having to adjust my awareness to it. The standards I have come to know on the earth no longer existed. I was a man, a being alone with the unknown elements of a place that did not want me around or to even exist. RT said this was part of the undeveloped lands of the psych forces, and that their concentrated efforts were among the social orders and the comforts of control for all their foolers. This is why Episcopos and his rebel friends are so far away from the center of things. The Callum God does not want to deal with him. So the God of Clutches has things like the Femi Beast and other android stuff to keep the outsides away. Anyhow, here I was with another great test of my life and being as detached as possible. As we moved along, the darkness was very soothing and tranquil. And then I saw something up ahead that looked a bit ominous. Look, Sonny, it is the Shield of Death. It is set up for intruders like us that want to get what we came for, said RT as he laughed. What is this? He can laugh, I thought. Episcopos never said anything about the Shield of Death. The awesome side of this disturbance looks to me like it could totally keep anyone out. The shield was a colorfulness that took up most of the sky, like the northern lights. There were also rapidly forming lightning bolts throughout the supposed structure of it that were constantly moving about. The closer we got, the more overwhelming it seemed to be until we were right up to it and I could not see anything else. Oh boy, I thought, this will be like running across the freeway at rush hour and trying to make it back. The idea is to watch very carefully the sequence of the energy bolts and how they manifest from their starting point and where they end up. Also, if you look below us, you will see the river of death and disaster. It is so ominous. because if you are caught in it, all your lower bodies disintegrate and you must start over as a viewpoint in the mineral worlds. So be very careful, said RT, as I watched him concentrate on the energy bolts. The river of death and disaster. Did he really have to mention the official description to me? At this point, I really didn't know anything. I was numb. The energy bolts were coming very fast, and I could not tell where they were coming from. Then I saw creatures that were floating around in the light waves of the shield, and some of them had arms and legs missing. They looked alive, yet all tortured up. I guessed that they hadn't made it to the river of death and disaster yet, that they were just waiting for their turn. Is this too much or what? I mumbled to myself. And I used to think waking up at 5 a.m. and getting lumber from Home Depot was hard. I knew I had to center myself and at the same time allow my real awareness to take me completely over. Here comes the test of my many lives, I thought. Get ready and stay very close and then watch me as I go, said RT as the shield made the strangest sounds, like a lumber mill with a lot of ball bearings missing from the saw motors. This was like my first parachute jump without the parachute. For some reason I began to laugh with myself as though I had drank a lot of good wine, because I knew I was being stupid, so why not act the part? Suddenly, I knew I had to be ready. Let's go now, he said, and I felt myself being sucked into the colorization of the barrier with energy bolts zipping all around me. The sound became deafening and began to tear at me as though I were to fail and die. It was just as I imagined, like trying to cross the freeway with giant trucks coming from all sides. Then suddenly, we were through. It all seemed so fast and amazing. I realized that it wasn't that bad at all, except for the awful noise. I actually felt good about being able to accomplish the breakthrough, and of course with RT at the helm. But then we were in another voyage, you might say. As we moved along, there began to appear rocky forms along the ground and the dirt. We walked on unstable terrain. It was a dull and gloomy area in a place that would have been excellent for a Type A graveyard. And then I began to see something moving around, like an apparition over the surface of things in the distance. Suddenly I remembered about the beast and the next torture we are to encounter. I decided to see myself riding the big surf in Hawaii. Then I looked over to RT. Rebazar, are you seeing what I think I am seeing down there? I asked, feeling rather concerned and alarmed. I see the thing. It is the Femi beast that is stalking us. It is the lunatic monster of the Deceptors. It is here to stop us or anyone wanting to penetrate the kingdom of the Callum. For those that do make it past the shield of death, the Femi beast is the next challenge to confront. The Callum only wants those who will be obedient to his will, and everyone else must be driven back to their origin in a new body to forget what they now know about this place, said RT. It will detect that we are here, sir. Can we destroy it? I asked. Yes, we can, but we must be more clever than the mechanical mind it has, said RT as he told me what we were going to do. He said I was going to be the bait and he would handle the machine. He said there was a control device on the underside of the Femi beast that was vulnerable, and the Femi beast knew it, so it always protected that part of itself. I was to go down to the ground in an area where the Femi beast would be above me and try to get the creature to leap at me. Well, I'm sure the plan sounded good to him, but now I felt like a tourist in the water of the movie Jaws. "Look," said RT as he pointed to a high rocky place. "Look closely and you will see the Femi beast on that ledge over there. It is very quick and covers all sides. It is very clever and knows how to blend in with its surroundings. You must circle around it over there to the right to draw his attention, and I will come around from the other side and then underneath him as he leaps at you. I will zap him with my Una energy," he said. Okay, Una energy, I thought. I had never heard him mention that term before, but it did sound as though it would get the job done. He wants me to do this, which does not sound like fun to me. Anyhow, I slowly went around to where RT wanted me. I had to be very quiet as I was watching the Femi beast from its view of all the surroundings. It stayed very still as I crept through the rocky gorges and rather slithered along the surfaces of the gnarly rock formations. Down I went into the murky, eerie, foggy depths of this dreadful area. There was also an awful odor about this place that was like deadness. My guess was that it is from all the decayed carcasses chewed up by the Femi beast. As I went lower, I could see the skulls and bones everywhere scattered among the rocks. The skulls were not like the human kind, but bizarre like the people that live on this level. I was now in an Indiana Jones movie for sure, and which episode I was still trying to decide. I reached the bottom of the gorge and found a place below where the Femi beast was sitting on the ledge above me. I was very nervous and actually felt something resembling sweat. I didn't know if I had a heartbeat left or not, but I did experience the idea of it. I felt like a cat with 9 lives, only I wanted more than just 9. The Femi beast looked to be a giant cat-like creature that had been put into a microwave transforming laboratory and came out all grotesque. Kind of like those Happy Meals you see advertised on TV that are supposed to be yummy, but turn out looking and tasting like rubber toy soldiers from the microwave. I could only see the outline of the beast because all of the murkiness and twilight effect that was all around me. I found this whole scene to be so unreal, and I kept closing my eyes to see if I would appear somewhere else. Even Riverside would be okay. What bothered me the most is that I could not see RT anywhere. He immediately vanished into the fogginess as I went into the depths. I tried some mental thoughts to contact him, and as I did, I heard a groan from the Femi beast and saw its shadowy head move very slowly. I tried to contact RT again, but all that would happen is the beast would groan and move its head around as though it knew I was here and receiving my impressions. Great, I thought. The Femi beast must be intercepting my thought forms. So I decided to test something. I began to imagine the local inhabitants walking along a rock formation above me to see if the beast would react. Then there was a great roar, and I saw the Femi beast quickly stand up on all fours and arch its back like a cat does when it's angry and ready to strike. Oh boy, what did I do now? What do I do now? I wondered if the thing knows where I am at. As I looked up at the creature, I could see a pair of brilliant red eyes staring right at me. Suddenly, it was as though it was hard for me to breathe even though there is no breathing on this level. I was gasping because I was so nervously feeling trapped and vulnerable. I became frozen as I watched the Femi beast slowly move from its spot and then start to climb down the side of the cliff towards me. Its eyes were the most fearsome things I had ever seen. They looked meaner than a pair of traffic lights or the flashing lights on a police car when they pull you over. Whatever. I tried to slap myself so that I would wake up, but it wasn't working because I was still here. I was now locked into the mental worlds, and my other bodies were somewhere fixed in time and in a comatose state of non-response. I didn't really care for those baggage bodies I had any which way, but suddenly the memory of them did make more sense than what I was going through now. My lifetimes were suddenly flashing before me as I could see the Femi beast slithering down the side of the gorge as though it were stalking me. Actually, it is stalking me, and I am caught in a dream world of Maya where things are not supposed to be real. I had to think about this, the illusionary heaven of man I was in. I thought. Am I seeing all of this right? I was trying to consider what RT has taught me for lifetimes, and at the same time pay attention to the really bad scene I was in right now. I know there is more to this than meets the eye or the eyes of the beast. I couldn't consider anything but what was taking place right now, my possible elimination from all existence. I began to ask myself that age-old question, why me? Then there was a penetrating, firm and subtle growl from the beast, and then I could hear it speak. Nice to see you again, servant boy. Do you like my little place of fun and adventure? Said the Femi beast, as it slowly crept along with a presence of domination. I was at first very startled at the fact of it speaking. It took me a moment, and then I began to realize something. I knew that voice. With all the fear going on within me, I was confused and trying to get the mental body to work properly. Then it hit me. It is the voice of Crony, and she is projecting fear into me so that I will submit to her. Ha ha ha, surfer boy, we meet again, she said with a snarl as she came closer. I am going to eat you like I have all the others that have tried to expose my great lord for who he is. You and I will have our own little party here in this dead zone. I will eat you slowly so that you can watch yourself being devoured. Sounds like fun for me, doesn't it? I had to do something out of the ordinary, because just sitting here frozen in fear was not doing anything. I had to get myself up and mobile and confront this witch of darkness. I felt myself being resistant at the same time as trying to motivate myself into a better position. I was actually struggling with myself as though I were asleep and trying to wake myself up from this bad dream. She was very close now, and I was even more frozen. What a struggle with the mind and what it decides as I kept searching for an answer within myself. I will read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz, new book 4 by Dwayne the Great Rider, tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. See ya.